Welcome, everyone. We are live tonight. It is Thursday night, and the weekend is, well, swiftly approaching. And so, tonight, I won't keep you waiting anymore. You know what this lecture is. Remember, he has a book written called Feeling is the Secret, but he gave a radio lecture version of the book. And this radio version, Radio Talk Station KECA Los Angeles, July 1951. Mm. He says, recently, I asked a very successful businessman his formula for success. He laughed, and he was a little embarrassed. But then he replied, well, I guess it's just because I can't conceive of failure. It's nothing that I think about much. He says, it's more a feeling that I have. Oh, his statement coincided completely with my own beliefs and experiments. We can think about something forever and never see it in our world. But once let us feel its reality, and we are bound to encounter it. The more intensely we feel, the sooner we will encounter it. You see, we all regard feelings far too much as effects and not succinctly as causes of the events of the day. Feeling is not only the result of our conditions of life, it is also the creator of those conditions. We say we are happy because we are well, not realizing that the process will work equally well in the reverse direction. We are well because we are happy. We are all far too undisciplined in our feelings. To be joyful for another is to bless ourselves as well as him. To be angry with another is to punish ourselves for his fault. The distressed mind stays at home though the body travels to the ends of the earth, while the happy mind travels through the body or travels though the body remains at home. Feeling is the secret of successful prayer. For in prayer, we feel ourselves into the situation of the answered prayer, and then we live and act upon that conviction, Dylan. And Mr. KB Barra, I see you. Capybara, I don't know. Um, Feeling after him, as the Bible suggests, is a gradual unfolding of the soul's hidden capacity. Listen to it. Feeling after him, as the Bible suggests, is a gradual unfolding of the soul's hidden capacities. Feeling yields in importance to no other. It is the ferment without which no creation is possible. All forms of creative imagination imply elements of feeling. It says, all emotional dispositions, whatever may influence the creative imagination. Hmm? Feeling after him has no finality. It is an acquisition, increasing in proportion to receptivity, which has not and never will have finality. Listen to it. Feeling after him, in other words, has no end, no finality, no end. It is an acquisition. You're constantly getting it, and you are increasing in proportion to receptivity. So the more open you are, the more you get, obviously, right? An idea, which is only an idea, produces nothing and does nothing. It acts only if it is felt, if it is accompanied by effective feeling. Somewhere within the soul, there is a mood which, if found, means wealth, health, happiness to us. The creative desire is innate in man. His whole happiness is involved in this impulse to create. Because men do not perfectly feel, listen, because men do not perfectly feel the results of their prayers, are unsure. Because men do not perfectly feel the results of their prayers, are unsure. Well, when they might be perfectly sure. We read in Proverbs, oh my goodness, I said this today. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. Orchestral hearts burn in the oil of the lamp of the king. The spirit sings unto the Lord a new song. All true prayer wears a glad countenance. Your face is your countenance. The good are anointed with the oil of gladness above their fellows. Let us then watch our feelings, our reactions to the day's events, and let us guard our feelings even more zealously in the act of prayer. For prayer is the true creative state. Dignity indicates that man hears the greater music of life and moves to the tempo of its deeper meaning. If we did nothing but imagine and feel the lovely, well, the world's reform would be at once and it would be accomplished. Many of the stories of the Bible deal exclusively with the power of imagination and feeling. Noah, sorry. Many of the stories of the Bible deal exclusively with the power of imagination and feeling. Feeling after him is the cry of the truth seeker. Only imagination and feeling can restore the Eden from which experience has driven us out. Feeling and imagination are the senses by which we perceive the beyond. Where knowledge ends, they begin. Do you understand that part? Where knowledge ends, they begin. What begins? It says feeling and imagination are the senses by which we perceive the beyond. Do you understand what that means? Your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, your skin are all limited to right where we are right now. But your feelings and your imagination spread beyond. Like I was explaining this to my son today. We can't hear the dog whistle when you blow it because we're human, but the dog can hear it, which means it is beyond our sense of hearing. But because we cannot hear it, doesn't mean that it is not being heard. So we are in a place where we are limited in what we can hear and what we can see and smell and taste and touch with our five senses. But there is a sense that takes us beyond the physical. And so he's saying that imagination is the thing that does that. Feeling and imagination are the senses by which we perceive the beyond. Where knowledge ends, they begin. Every noble feeling of man is the opening for him of some door to the divine world. Let us measure men not by the height of their cities, but by the magnificence of their imaginations and feelings. I gave you the example the other day of Oppenheimer and Tesla. Let us measure men not by the height of their cities, but by the magnificence of their imaginations and feelings. The measure of a man. One man chose to destroy, the other chose to build. So that's how you measure the man, by his imagination. What does he do with it? Hmm? But we tend to measure people by cha-ching and vroom vroom and how much property we own. That's how we tend to measure people. Hmm. Well, we'll come to that in a minute, buddy. We'll come to it. Stick around and we'll come to it. I'll teach you guys something. Let us turn our thought up to heaven and mix our imagination with the angels. The world that moves us is the one we imagine, not the world that surrounds us. In the imagination lie the unexplored continents and man's great future adventure. This consciousness of non finality is feeling after God, or this consciousness of non finality in feeling after God has been the experience of all earnest Godward feelers. They realize that their conception of the infinite has constantly depended and expanded with experience. Those who endeavor to think out the meaning of the experience and to coordinate it with the rest of our knowledge are the philosophic mystics, those who try to develop the faculty in themselves and to deepen the experience are the practical or experimental mystics. Some, and among them the greatest, have tried to do both. Religion begins in subjective experience. Religion is what a man does with his solitude. For in solitude, we are compelled to subjective experience. Cyber. It is of the religious attitude that I shall speak next Sunday, he says. The religious attitude. A true religious attitude is man's salvation. Why? God never changes. It is we who are changing. Our spiritual eyes are ever getting keener. And this enlargement of truth will bring us an ever increasing inner peace. The best defense against the deceptive assault upon our mental and moral eyesight is the spiritual eye, or the eye of God. In other words, a spiritual ideal that cannot be changed by circumstance, a code of personal honor and integrity in ourselves, and goodwill and love to others. Not what thou art, nor what thou hast been, beholdeth God with his merciful eyes, but that thou wouldst be. Hear it. It's not what you are or what you have been that God sees, but he sees what you would be. So he never sees you as a bad boy, bad girl. He never sees you as striving. No, he sees you as your best. That is how God sees the heart. Through the veins of the humblest man on earth runs the royal blood of being. My mother said that to me the other day. She goes, I've got the royal blood of God in me. I said, oh, I said, my, hey, whew. She believes it. And as within, so without, right? So, therefore, let us look at man through the eyes of imaginative love, which is really seeing with the eye of God. Under the influence of the eye of God, the ideal rises up out of the actual as water is etherealized by the sun into the imaginary cloudland. Ooh, he was just too poetic. The water rises and is etherealized, mist, into the imagery cloudland. Clouds. Water vapor. Things altogether distant are present to the spiritual eye. The eye of God makes the future dream a present fact. Not 4 months to harvest. Look again. If we persist in this seeing, one day we will rise. We will arise with the distance in our eyes. And all the staying stagnant nearby will suddenly be of no importance. Do you get what that means? It means you will bring your quote unquote future right here, right now. There's no separation between now and future. You will bring it now. So that when you look out into the world, you're not waiting, you're not hoping, but you are knowing that it is here and it is now, right? So all the stagnant things, you see right through them. We will brush it aside as we pass on to our far seen objective. The man who really finds himself cannot do otherwise than let himself be guided by love. He is of too pure eyes to behold iniquity. Not two as in two, but two as in also. TOO. Too pure. Our ability to help others will be in proportion to our ability to control and help ourselves. Well, how you mean, Angela? Our ability to help ourselves will be in proportion to our ability to control and help ourselves. Did I say others? Because it was supposed to say, but I didn't feel like I said others. But as within, so without. Your ability to help others is in proportion to your ability to help yourself. The day a man achieves victory over himself, history will discover that to have been a victory over his enemy. The healing touch is an attitude. The healing touch is in an attitude. And one day man will discover that one governs soul only with serenity. The mighty surrenders itself fully only to the most gentle. Recognizing the power of feeling, let us pay strict attention to our moods and attitudes. Every stage of man's progress is made through the experience of his imagination and feeling. By creating an ideal within our mental sphere, we can feel ourselves into this ideal image till we become one and the same with it, absorbing its qualities into the very core of our being. The solitary or captive can, by the intensity of his imagination and feeling, effect myriads. I want you to hear this. Let me highlight it because I remember seeing somebody in the chat mention the California wildfires. This is important to that. If you understand this, you will understand what I'm telling you when we come together over it. The solitary or captive can, by the intensity of his imagination and feeling, effect myriads so that he can act through many men and speak through many voices. Extend your feelers, trust your touch, participate in all flights of your imaginations, and be not afraid of your own sensitivities. The best way to feel another's good is to be more intensely aware of it. Be like my friend and have more of a feeling for the health, the wealth, the happiness you desire. Ideas do not bless unless they descend from heaven and take flesh. You know, you got to say that again because that is so uberly poetic. Ideas do not bless unless they descend from heaven and take flesh. Make results or accomplishments. Listen, make results or accomplishments the crucial test of true imagination. As you observe these results, you will determine to fill your images with love and to walk in a high and noble mood. For you will know with the poet, that which ye sow, ye reap. See yonder fields, the sesamum was sesamum, the corn was corn. The silence and the darkness knew, so is man's fate born. So that is the end of the feeling is the secret for the lecture, but it is appropriate tonight for what's happening in California. I don't care about the origin of how it started because one can only speculate, right? We can only speculate how it started. But we're going to use the principles tonight, okay? We're going to use the principles tonight. When you hear the scripture where two or more are gathered, that has a double meaning. There's three, two, and I don't know how many are on fan base because I can't see them right now because I'm reading. But we're more than two. But the other meaning is let in your mind's eye what you want to become and what you feel to be true are in alignment. The two now become one. So where two or more are gathered, right? It says, by the intensity of your imagination and feeling, you can effect myriads. What does myriads mean? A lot. Many. Let's look it up. It says a countless or extremely great number. So you can influence. If you and I are of like mind, we can influence what's happening in California. Why is that? Now, let me ask you this question. You used to watch the Care Bears, right? Do you think the Care Bears was just a children's cartoon, or do you think there was a message within the Care Bears? What did the Care Bears do? They got around in a circle. Yeah. They got around in a circle, a semicircle, like a quarter moon. And all of them focused, whatever their gifts were, in one direction. And they called it the Care Bear stare. Why is that? Because the Care Bear stare meant that everybody was focused in one direction with intensity. So that wherever you were focused, because remember the principle of gender, nothing stays within the mind. It is projected outwards from the mind into the womb that we cannot see. So Care Bears, when they said Care Bear stare, everybody focused on one thing and what they wanted that outcome to be. So you see tonight, it may appear to be a children's cartoon, but if you really pay attention to the message that is being sent from that cartoon, that if I have all my friends together and we focus on one thing, we can affect what? A myriad of change. So tonight, whether, like I said, whether we know the origin, that is not our concern. We just want people to be safe, do we not? We want people to have the ability to return to their homes with minimal damage. Is that not what we want? Do we not want their safety? Well, then we have to do a Care Bear stare. We want their safety. We want their health, their wealth, their sound mind. We want that. Because right now they're living in trauma, right? Not knowing what's happening and why and am I going to be safe? They don't know. But we can influence it. Well, let's practice. Right where you are, unless, of course, you're driving. If you're driving, well, then just carry on. Just, you can catch the replay. But right where we are, it is always easier to want for someone better. It's always easier to want better for someone else, right? Why am I so congested? Oh my God. One moment, please. Oh my goodness. I'm just, it's brutal. So we want to be of one singular mind here, which is their health, their safety, their well being. This is not a time where we uh, project our opinion, our feelings. That's not it. We want one thing for them. So let us take a moment now to sit quietly. This is our 5 minutes of silence, you know. Let us sit or recline right where we are and begin to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose until you begin to feel yourself relax. Because that is the key, huh? Begin to feel yourself relax. And just continue to breathe. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And that is how we breathe. And the more we do it, we will begin to feel ourselves getting relaxed, heavy. That's what we'll begin to feel. Allow yourself to feel it. Take your time. Step one, what do you want to experience? Health and safety for the people wherever they are in California. That is what you want to experience, right? Good. Step two, how would it make you feel to hear the news broadcasters say, oh my God, that was so weird. It's like as quickly as they started, they were extinguished. Wow, great job, guys, for putting those fires out. Remember how Neville said we would never know if it was that little woman treading in the wine press? We are treading in the wine press tonight for our friends. They have no idea what we're doing. But you'll hear all about it, and it will come out like, oh, wow, the frontline workers really did an exceptional job. That's how you'll hear it. How does it make you feel to know that you had a hand in that? That you exercised the principles and you helped someone? How would that make you feel to hear that? Whether you hear it or you see it on social media, but what would it make you feel like? Yeah? Catch that feeling. For some, it may make you feel annoyed to think that, oh my God, I just did all that Care Bear stare and nobody recognized me. It's okay. You know, you know what you did. So you use every feeling to intensify your focus. So you know you want that safety and that peace for them. And you know how it would make you feel. Well, then begin to feel it as you hear it and you see it scrolling through. Everybody's talking about the fire and how quickly it was extinguished. As you scroll through, you're like, oh my God, I was a part of that. Feel the disbelief of you having participated in something and seeing it unfold so that you can say, I had a part in that. Feel that. And step three, immerse yourself as you put your head on your pillow tonight. Just immerse yourself in that feeling. To know that We helped. And we can use this for any, but our focus right now, our Care Bear stare is California. And so the next time you hear the song, California, California, ah, we be rocking, right? Next time you hear that jam, you see how good it makes you feel when you hear that jam? Project it outward, that love for our Californians. Over and over and over and over again. And watch, you'll hear it on the news because you heard it here first because you did it. So let us now slide into the silence with knowing we want their safety and their health and their well-being. And we know that it feels amazing to have helped someone else. And we immerse ourselves in that feeling over and over and over again until such time, because the harvest is now. You make there here. You make it over now. We're not waiting for it to be done. It is done. So develop that attitude as we slide into the silence for 5 minutes, all focused on exactly the same thing and the same outcome. Care Bear, stare. And there concludes our 5 minutes. Now, as you go to bed tonight, practice this again, over and over, so that you get, because remember, it says that when you use your goals and your ambitions to test the power of your imagination. You want to see how skilled you are at using your imagination to bring about change. That is what you want. That's how you use the imagination, right? So let us do that tonight for California, so that you can come back here and we'll have the biggest party, because we'll know what we've done. And we'll say, oh my God, what a coincidence. So, my beautiful friends, Miss Tiffany and JV Solo Breezy. Oh. Um, Gerald, Cyber, Buddy. Hey, Buddy. Dylan. Um, Edith. Edith's B. I think that's how I say your name. And Raj. That smile was for you, Raj. Because Raj says he has a gap too. I think it's a boy. I don't know. Raj. Bah! Tell me so I know. And let's see who else is there. There's Mr. Cray Bearer. And on fan base, we got that Deal and Flow Smiles. Listen, practice tonight and test the power of your imagination, right? So you know I'll see you on tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow yet. I don't know. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But ooh, tomorrow's lecture, affirm the reality of your own greatness. Affirm the reality of your own greatness. So practice your attention and focus and feeling through your imagination. And let us bring about the change in the world for California. Let us do it. I love you. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. And I will see you on the morrow. Much love. Twitter is closed.